Welcome, everybody, to Pride Perspectives. Our topic tonight is religion, LGBTQ plus people, and end-of-year reflections. I am your host today. Yet I'm an unfamiliar voice unless you've listened recently. I've been a guest, and now I get to be a guest host because our wonderful co-hosts Rob Darrow and Cece Panera are taking a well-deserved vacation. But they have sent in their reflections about the past year, which you'll hear about in the second part of the show. Our Pride Perspectives radio show here is on KSQD every other Sunday from 5 to 6. You can find all of the recordings and updates on the Santa Cruz Pride website, santacruzpride.org. That is santacruzpride.org. So as I mentioned, my name is Kim Clark. My pronouns are she, her. I identify as lesbian, and I've been in the Santa Cruz community for 25 years. And I am reliving a dream. I used to be in radio back in my 20s, so I am bringing back that 28-year-old, 25-year-old that used to be on the radio, and I'm just going to have a blast with this hour hanging out with all of you. And we're not going to be alone. We're going to have a live guest with us in just a minute. And we're going to talk a little bit more about religion, LGBTQ plus people, the community. What does it mean to be in the holidays as LGBTQ plus, especially with so much going on around religion and faith around this time of year? How do we navigate that? Our first guest is going to help us with that before we get into the second segment of the show, where both Rob and Cece have pre-recorded some segments to talk about their end-of-year reflections of some past shows from 2025. And before we get into all of that, let me remind everybody that Pride Perspectives is guided by the following beliefs. We believe that Santa Cruz County is thriving, partly because of the contributions of LGBTQ plus people, and LGBTQ plus people in Santa Cruz County are thriving because of the broader Santa Cruz County. We believe in the words of Jewish poet Emma Lazarus that none of us are free until all of us are free. On this show, you will hear us refer to queer history and LGBTQ plus history. And for us, these terms are interchangeable and refer to people who identify as lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and anywhere on the gender identity spectrum and whoever they are attracted to. And all are welcome to be a part of this radio show. So as I mentioned, for our show today, we are reflecting on our shows for the past year. In our second segment, we began our shows sharing about the vibrant LGBTQ plus history and people across Santa Cruz County. And for this show, we're going to revisit our most recent topic, religion and LGBTQ plus people in Santa Cruz County, before sharing a few reflections and some music to celebrate the beginning of the new year. Starting in October, Pride Perspectives focused on religion and LGBTQ plus people. And in November, I was one of the guests talking about a film that I produced called God and Gays, Bridging the Gap, which is available to view online for free. And during that show, Rob, Cece, and I talked about the film and its purpose, which is why I produced this film, why I made this film almost 20 years. Oh my gosh, almost 20 years ago. It'll be 20 years next year. It was because I wanted to put a face to the issues. There is so much rhetoric going on about LGBTQ plus people, especially those of us who are raised in conservative Christian, Catholic, Jewish, religious environments. And I wanted a documentary to share the stories of people who have gone through the benefits and the consequences of coming out. That's what God and Gays Bridging the Gap is all about. We ended up getting several distribution options, theaters, film festivals. We even showed here in Santa Cruz at the Del Mar. It was an incredible time. And gosh, next year is the 20-year anniversary. I'm still kind of spinning out about that. But one of the big stars of that film is Rev Deborah Johnson. And she's our special guest today. Hello, Rev D.
Greetings, everyone. How are you doing, Kim?
Oh, it's so good to talk with you. When I was interviewed by Cece and Rob recently talking about religion and LGBTQ plus people, I kept bringing you up talking about the movie. And then I realized they interviewed you as well.
Yeah, pretty recently.
And now here we are together. And that's because you and I have known each other since I started going to Inner Light Ministries in 2004. And so it's been 22 years, and you have been my mentor, my rock, my teacher, my pastor this whole time. And we're close friends, and we talk often. And I found when Rob and Cece said, "What do you want to do in this?" When you co-host the show, I said, I want to bring back Rev D if that's okay, because I think there's more that we can talk about this intersection of religion, being LGBTQ plus, and experiencing the holidays in 2025. All very unique expressions and experiences for folks. But please, first, before we get into our conversation, please introduce yourself to everybody.
Well, as mentioned, I'm Rev Deborah Johnson, quite often referred to as Rev D. I came into the Santa Cruz area in 1990 and have had the privilege of being involved in many things there. Social justice is one of my passions. Nearly 30 years ago now, I started Inner Light Ministries, and we are a very eclectic, open, diverse spiritual community. I personally was raised very fundamentalist Pentecostal, but have a much more universal approach now. I've spent a good portion of my life as a DEI specialist in organizational development in all kinds of sectors, and am just always pleased to be helping to heal social political divides. That's my jam, is helping us to get along and paying particular attention to those places where there's been a lot of woundedness. Mm-hmm. And, God knows that religion is one of those places. So anything that we can say here today that might help, I'm glad to be here.
Thank you for your time. Okay, you and I have had these conversations. You shared these conversations with those who attend your monthly in-person gathering here in Santa Cruz on the first Sunday of every month. You travel in from Las Vegas and, be with people. You continue to pastor here in Santa Cruz, and you, have these once-a-month gatherings still that we encourage people to come and attend, especially when you're coming to speak and teach. And something you've talked about quite often, especially increasingly so over the last few years, but I think it's really something that a lot more people need to hear. You speak about is just generally what the holidays, what the vibe is around holidays for everyone, like the heaviness of holidays, the pressure of holidays. Can you just talk through and acknowledge for folks who may be struggling during this holiday season, what is it about the holidays that brings up a lot of emotion and history and triggers?
Certainly, but before I say that, I don't trust myself to remember, just like you're filling in now, there at the radio station, Kim is also going to be filling in for me at that gathering that she just mentioned, the first Sunday in January, mm-hmm. At the Resource Center for Nonviolence at 3 o'clock. And local hip-hop artist Gina Renee is going to be there doing the music. So
that's on Sunday, January 4th. Yeah.
Yes, Sunday, January the 4th. The holiday seasons are an interesting time for many reasons. One, just because it is the end of the year. And in the wintertime, particularly as the days are so short, there is a lot that comes up for people. There's a lot of transitions that happen. It's known for being a point in time where people leave the planet, where they just leave this incarnation. There's a lot more of it the end of like around Halloween to Valentine's Day or so. So there can be a tremendous amount of grieving that takes place at this time of year for people who aren't here anymore, or grieving connections that you used to have. It's a time when folks get together. There's a lot of reminiscing. There's a lot of reunion stuff that goes on. Mm-hmm. And needless to say, that stirs up the pot for things that are unhealed or unfinished, things we might be able to squash down a little bit more when we're busy in the summertime. But when things start to slow down a little bit and we have to face ourselves or face people that we've been avoiding, a lot of stuff can, in fact, come up for people. So it's mixed. And with all the joy and festivities, there can be a lot of angst. The other thing I just want to say about this time, I call it the time-space travel, where you can go from being 45 to 5 and it's just a few seconds flat, particularly around your family. So, try to remember who you are and not regress.
Yeah, I do that with my mom all the time. Whenever I get around my mom, I'm suddenly like a teenager or a kid. I'm not sure what happens to me. Yeah, that's absolutely true. And, and I think it's really important for us to acknowledge, for some of us, holidays can be, every rom-com on Hallmark Channel might be talking about, these wonderful things, but that's not everyone's experience. So there might be some folks listening right now that saying that I had a hard time getting into the holidays this year, and maybe, for a variety of reasons. So let's talk more specifically about LGBTQ plus people in particular in our unique experiences, because the holidays, you were mentioning events, there's a lot of religious and faith-based events and messaging and media and songs on the radio, etc. But the LGBTQ plus community, we have a unique experience with this intersection of faith, being LGBTQ plus, the holidays, and perhaps being around our friends or our family, and how things were traditionally done as we were growing up. But we maybe have grown and changed and shifted as people, but we also might have some triggers that may have occurred, over time by being LGBTQ plus people. And if we were raised in a home of faith or religion, can you speak to those unique experiences and help us how do we best navigate all of this? Yes.
There's a term that's kind of popular in diversity circles known as code switching. And what code switching refers to is when you are in a position where your values and your culture is not in the majority, you learn how to navigate in a world that isn't authentically you. And the ones who are more, quote unquote, successful by traditional standards are the ones who know how to do that. Sometimes it's referred to as passing. But it's not without its cost. And its costs are often a sense of lack of authenticity, of invisibility, and not just that you're being discriminated against from the outside, but a way in which we've been complicit or even colluded in our own invisibility. So there are those decisions like, okay, do I bring my partner or not?
Mm-hmm.
What's going to be more important to me, my comfort or grandma's? How is my mother going to handle this? What's my baby brother going to do? And we clean it up a bit sometimes. It's like if you have a bunch of queer folks in the room and we're cracking jokes and somebody straight comes in, it's like teenagers and the adult came in where we code switch, where we kind of drop that sometimes and without even realizing that we're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem that I find is that during the holidays, we become more acutely aware of something that had been just habitual, that we become aware of the fact that it's time for us to speak our truth, and we're not. We become more aware of the fact that nobody has been really acknowledging us, for who we are. So there is the kind of pain of being in that invisible minority position, which gets amplified during the holidays. It's also an opportunity to get brave, though. I can honestly say that I've made my biggest strides in terms of interpersonal relationships around coming out and with my family was by showing up fully me at the holiday family event and bringing my partner with me, realizing that people can't love you if they don't know you.
Oh, good one.
They can't love you if they don't know you. And that so often the fears that they had in their head about who I was and what was going on was not based or warranted on anything. So it's a risk to put yourself out there, to let yourself be seen, but you can never be loved unless you do.
I love that, Rev. And I really hope that has touched somebody and helping them understand who they are, choices that they have. Because there's where there's hope, there's always choice. There's always choices, and there is a lot of support for you. Even in faith-based organizations, Out in Our Faith has several faith organizations, including Inner Light Ministries, that will totally accept you. It's like not even a thing at Inner Light Ministries if you're LGBTQ+. It's not even a thing. I mean, it's this thing that's celebrated, but it's not a barrier. There is no thing about it. So if you need a place of community and acceptance for exactly who you are, no matter where you are or who you are, Inner Light Ministries, that Rev D is at the helm of, is one such faith-based community. Can I
just say something though, just to kind of set the record straight?
Of course.
That I was coming out right at the time of Stonewall. Literally, I was in my first relationship, a freshman in high school. We stayed together through my senior year in college, still good friends. And I can honestly say that the earliest groups that embraced what was then just the gay community were the religious organizations. I was at USC's campus as a freshman in 1972, and the gay group met at the religious center, which technically speaking was off campus, even though it physically was in the middle of campus. It was Hollywood Presbyterian and the United Methodist Church there in West Hollywood were the only places where we could meet. And I just want to put that out there, that we have a narrative sometimes of everything being like anti-us, but they were our haven and our sanctuary in the early days, and we can't let a small minority opinion that has the microphone right now shape all of our views on what religion is or how religion is. And some denominations, say, for example, like the Methodists, here recently, with their courage, have literally split in two.
Mm-hmm.
Have split in two over the issue. And they're just so United Church of Christ. I mean, there's just so many groups, and these are Christian groups, but they're not all Christian groups. It's just to say that let's be careful not to pigeonhole religion, just like we don't want our sexuality pigeonholed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I was raised in the Church of Christ, and they're not accepting. So some of us just had exposure to certain congregations that were not affirming, but that should not cast a shadow on the entirety of all organizations, because to your point, there are so many that are open and affirming. It's not the, love the sinner, hate the sin kind of thing. This is like across the board, open and accepting and affirming. They do exist. So if you are someone who is LGBTQ+, who does desire a spiritual connection and community, there are organizations in Santa Cruz and Monterey County that are available to you if that is something that you desire. My last question.
And the good thing in Santa Cruz is that I dare say, I think the majority of churches are really more open and accepting. And if you feel a spiritual call, don't just automatically assume that you're not welcome.
I hope listeners are really taking that to heart for sure. Because, when I first came out, I thought for sure that I was, first of all, the only one. Right?
Yeah.
Which is not true at all. There's millions of us. And I thought I had to choose between, am I going to be part of the LGBTQ+ community and be my authentic self, or am I going to be a part of a Christian community? Because I had this understanding or belief system that you couldn't be both while I'm coming out. And
Right.
So I realized soon enough, especially walking into your church in 2004 and saying, I could be all of me. I don't have to, you're talking about code switching, so I don't have to, I can bring all of myself, because I do desire a spiritual connection and community. And for those who desire it as well, you can reinvent and create your own in organizations across Monterey and Santa Cruz County.
Yes, very, very unusual.
Yes. So let's take advantage of it, not take it for granted. We have an incredible faith-based set of institutions here in these counties that genuinely love us, and they understand Jesus' teachings, right, around, who we are to be. And for those of us who've had a really, really hard year in 2025, Rev, going into 2026, kind of getting ourselves back into some sense of control, and feeling like we've got momentum, like that we are taking back our own power and our own control. I wanted to share with you something that I saw posted on social, and to get your reflections on it for a couple of minutes. And it is talking about the signs of the wood snake of 2025 and the fire horse of 2026. And here's what it says. There is a reason this year felt so heavy. The year of the snake asked us to shed old skins, old stories, old ties we had outgrown. Friendships fell away, relationships revealed their truth, attachments loosened their grip. What was hidden came into the light. Masks slipped. Cycles closed, not to punish us, but to free us. This was not loss. This was clearing. And now we step into the year of the horse, a year of forward motion, strength returning to the body, momentum building beneath our feet, opportunities meeting readiness. We are no longer circling the same lessons. We are moving with purpose, direction, and fire. What are your thoughts on how we get ourselves positioned to have a really strong 2026.
Be ourselves. That literally is it. For us to be who we know that we are. Don't cower. Don't make excuses. Don't run. Don't hide. Show up as our bodacious, audacious, fun-loving, resilient selves. Love, dance, party, care, serve. Just be us. Because that's what they want. They want more than anything for us to stop doing all of that. That's what they want. They want us to be in fear. They want us to be in cowardice. They want us to second guess ourselves and to believe that there's something wrong with us. They want us to go into hiding. They want us to shut up and move over and say, nope, nope.
Nah.
Not today, baby. And this is what those before us did. This is what they taught us, and this is what they showed us. And I know we got to end, but I just want to add this on here. It's our time to lead. It's our time to lead. This toxic hypermasculinity that's being put out there as the way to be and policy is not. We understand more than anybody what the yin-yang is about. We understand more than anybody what it's like to be healthy and balanced and integrated. And no matter what, we have never resolved our problems through violence. And we are a combination of everybody, every socioeconomic status, every race, every ethnicity, and we never resort to violence to solve our problems.
Be ourselves, our full, God-filled selves.
And let them learn from us.
Love it. Thank you, Rev. Thank you.
You're
Thank you
welcome.
for your time. Thank you for sharing. And I can't think of a better way of wrapping up Pride Perspectives than talking with you. Thank you so much for your time. And I hope if people want to continue to stay in touch with you, Inner Light Ministries has a YouTube channel and a Facebook channel. And again, if you're local to Santa Cruz and Monterey, the first Sunday of every month at the Resource Center for Nonviolence, you hold an in-person gathering, and all are invited and welcome. Thank you, Rev.
Thank you. Take care.
You're listening to the Pride Perspectives radio show on KSQD 90.7 FM, 89.7 FM, and KSQT 89.7 Prunedale, serving the counties of Santa Cruz and Monterey. Welcome back to the Pride Perspectives radio show, the last one of 2025. For our second segment, we are going to go back to reflect back on some of the awesome queer music that were part of the past shows this year. Rob Darrow, one of our co-hosts of this show, reflects here about a conversation that took place in March with Tom Ellison and Mickey McGushan, and we're going to share with you that conversation, and we will also listen to the world premiere of the composition and celebration of the 50th anniversary of Santa Cruz Pride.
This is Rob Darrow reflecting back on our 25 Pride Perspective radio shows that took place in 2025. In March, we talked with Tom Ellison and Mickey McGushan about a special Santa Cruz Pride 50th anniversary musical commission that was performed at the New Music Works concert in May. Tom and Mickey talked about how the musical composition, that included both instrumental and choral music developed during our show in March. Let's listen into this conversation, and then you'll get a chance to hear that actual composition from May. You mentioned earlier about New Music Works concert coming up in May. Let's jump into that.
Well, this is something that both myself and
Mickey,
thank you.
What's his name?
And what's his name? It's are involved with. For me, this started a couple of years ago. I was reaching out to the arts community to get bring the arts community and the queer community together in the celebration of Pride. And one of the people I approached was Phil, and he was very interested. And it's taken these last couple of years to pull something together. What they're doing is an evening of all queer composers, and including a piece by Mickey McGushan, which he's in the process of still composing.
Yes.
Do you want to talk about that?
Tom actually commissioned me to write a piece in honor of Pride 50th anniversary here in Santa Cruz County, and hopefully it'll get done in time that it'll get performed. No, it's slated to be performed. People are.
I'm trusting you.
So that will be on that concert. It's a piece for choir and a small ensemble of musicians, with, in the end, a text that Tom himself wrote, which is really
great.
Fun.
And by happenstance, I would say.
I mean, by happenstance.
It was for me, it was.
Yeah, for Tom it was. Mickey was struggling with trying to find a text that felt directed enough for the occasion that it was being commissioned for. And while I kept saying, I looked at some of Lou's poems. I thought about, maybe I could do that, and looked at a number of other things. And they were all lovely and could become pieces someday, but they didn't feel right for this particular commission. And then Tom, I think in his panic, wrote something up and sent it in an email. And I said, I could use that.
No, actually, it wasn't quite like that, because I had written this in the process, and I wasn't even thinking that this would be something to give you, quite honestly. But we were in conversation over several weeks, I think, trying to figure something out. And so I just happened to mention to you, well, I did write this piece. Would you like to look at it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it was amazing, because I thought, no, he's not. This is going to be.
But it was great because it answered it kind of filled all the gaps I had, in that it was like, now this is directed toward the event in a way that makes it feel like something that is appropriate.
Thanks, Rob, Tom, and Mickey, for sharing the origin story of the composition, Here to There, Then to Now. This world premiere composition was performed during the New Music Works concert that took place in May 2025 in celebration of the 50th anniversary of Santa Cruz Pride. Isn't that amazing? 50 years. I'd like to share with you the lyrics of the composition, and then we'll take a listen. So here are the lyrics to Here to There, Then to Now by Tom Ellison. From near and far a journey, courageous and open-hearted, timid and bold, fearful yet brave, a wounded past, seeking to become myself. I come to this once sleepy town, converging on the edge of a westward migration, on the edge of a contingent, on the edge of a culture, on the edge. Waves lapping at my bruised, well-traveled feet, a community of letters, LGBTQ, and more and more and more, learning to embrace every direction, everyone, everybody. Queer, 50 ways, 50 years, a profusion of pronouns, a conundrum of opportunity, a perception opening a door. A different bent, bending. A different perspective, perceiving. An open heart, receiving. A journey, providing passage, looking beyond the horizon for a home. From here to there, I look back. From then to now, I look forward. Those are the lyrics of the composition we're about to listen to. And now let's take a listen to the musical composition performed in May 2025. And then we will be back with some final thoughts and a final song from Patty Maxine as we look forward to 2026. Wow. That was beautiful. So that was the world premiere of Here to There, Then and Now, composed for the 50th anniversary of Santa Cruz Pride by Tom Ellis. The 50th anniversary year of Santa Cruz Pride ends this week as we usher in the new year. Next, Cece Pinero, one of the co-hosts of this show, shares her hopes for the new year. And then you're going to hear from Patty Maxine, who sang the song Peace back on this show, Pride Perspectives, in February. Patty's song will conclude our show tonight. And thank you for being with me for this hour as I co-host, as I guest host for Cece and Rob. It's been a pleasure to spend this hour with you to wrap up 2025 Pride Perspectives. All of us here at Pride Perspectives wish you a very happy new year and look forward to the first show in 2026, which will see the return of Cece and Rob come back on January 11th. Now let's take a listen to Cece and Patty. Happy New Year, everybody.
Hi, this is Cece Pinero. My pronouns are she, her, hers. We have very much enjoyed bringing the Pride Perspective radio show to you every other Sunday here on KSQD in 2025. And we look forward to continuing our show in 2026. We wanted to end our show with a song that Patty Maxine sang for us on our show in February. Overall, we want to wish all of you a happy queer new year. We wish you a queer peace and joy in 2026. Here is Patty to finish out our show tonight, singing her song of peace for all of us.
I love this song, so here it goes for everyone here. This is all for you, everyone, and me too. Peace on your journey, light on your path. Pleasure in the moments when your life is coming fast. Lost in emotion I might have forgotten. Filling all the spaces between starting and stopping. And you know, things I didn't say. You know, the way it is today. Soon as you're thinking of something to say, everything changes and the room fades away. And I've just discovered it's all right to be tender. It's something we'd forgotten, it's easy to remember. More than I could say would just be words to get through. Making the moments sing, that's all that I can tell you. And you know, things I didn't say, you know, the way it is today. Soon as you're thinking of something to say, everything changes and the room fades away. Coming no close, getting near to being free. May all your traveling be I didn't say, you know, the way it is today. Soon as you're thinking of something to say, everything changes, everything changes, everything changes and the room fades away. I love this song, so here it comes. Goes for everyone here. This is all for you, everyone, and me too. Peace on your journey, light on your path. Pleasure in the moments when your life is coming fast. Lost in emotion I might have forgotten. Filling all the spaces between starting and stopping. And you know, things I didn't say. You know, the way it is today. Soon as you're thinking of something to say, everything changes and the room fades away.